Reddit users, what's something that a person should never brag about? I'm blunt. Recent experiences have taught me that 9 times out of 10, those people are just assholes with zero empathy. Similar to this, people who boast about not having a filter. Those people tend to be chaotic and think it's funny to make people uncomfortable, offended about how many drugs they do. I see this way too often with people at my high school, and it doesn't look like they'll grow out of it either. Tolerance. I don't get why someone would want a high tolerance. It just costs more to get you there. So dumb. I had it worse than you. Pain is not a competition, and usually people who say things like this try to act like it is initiate the entire exchange as an excuse to seem tough, or that they have it worse. About how good a liar they are. People will stop trusting them, monsieur. It's also something a real good liar wouldn't say. Good liars want you to think they're bad liars, not helping out around the house. I couldn't tell you how many grown-ass men say stuff like, I've never changed a diaper, I'm not allowed to touch the washing machine, and if I cooked I'd burn the house down. The good OL boys announce this stuff like it's hilarious and cool. But really they ought to be ashamed. Intelligence. People will be able to tell just taking to you. You don't gotta flex your IQ. But how else will people know of my impressive 86 IQ? Wow, that's like a B+. Cheating. I've met people where they would brag about their particular side projects. Honestly, it just presents the person as insensitive and untrustworthy. I had a girl tell me once when we were breaking up, I cheated on you. It's like that says way more about you than me. How good of a drunk driver you are. You're just a piece of shit. Also, people who claim they can safely drive high. I know many parents who are proud and even zealously brag about how they punish their children. A lot of times, what they are describing sounds assholish and like abuse. What's really happening is they are punishing their kids for not coping with their poor parenting choices well enough. I had some mom talk to me about pouring sassy sauce in her toddler's mouth when she acts up. Said, sassy sauce, it's habanero Tabasco sauce. I'm a guy, but I wanted to call her when she said that. How little sleep they get. I hate going to work tired. YTF, are you proud of yourself for it? I had a former coworker who liked to brag that they could go off 4 hours of sleep a night. They drifted from job to job and never lasted long, mostly because they made constant small errors or missed things that should have been obvious. They refused to believe the two could possibly be related because they didn't feel tired. Their sex life. I've heard people do this and I just find it really weird, an indication that everything else in their life is rubbish. Just remind them that literally everyone fucks. If we didn't, the human race wouldn't exist. It's not some secret club. Even my dog has done it a few times. And he eats his own shit. Give your dog a pat for continuing the human race. Being a big drinker. Drunk. It sickens me when people talk about how smashed they were last night but yet can't remember shit, etc. How they have more chromosomes than you. How expensive something they bought is. I have a buddy who built $1 million construction business, but all him and his wife do is bitch about shit like how much it costs to gas up their boat. Nobody cares. No one is impressed. And that's why they're always alone in the corner at parties. Nobody there wants to hear it, especially when it's designed to put everyone else down. Not that it does. This one kid in my class in middle school was a late bloomer, and when he finally got armpit hair he let it grow out and proudly present it to everyone. Not a good idea. Let it grow out. Is everyone trimming their armpit hair now? Did I miss the memo? Guys? How they can just grab a woman by the pussy. Username does not check out. Unironically being a Nazi. I had so many people on the internet claim they know so much about history, and yet they think Hitler was done dirty by history and say that all history books concerning WW2 are biased. No, they're not. Sir, you're just a terrible person. I'm an amateur Nazi historian. And I love offending these guys with my entirely accurate portrayal of the Nazi war machine. Almost as bad. The people who claim they've simply been labeled bigoted or a Nazi because they have a conservative view on an issue could never be that they say Nazi shit. I can understand why some people would be frustrated with that idea, as a lot of conservatives are fairly moderate and don't even take Nazis or bigots seriously. It was a problem back in 2016 and 2017, so I could see why moderate conservatives would be frustrated with that. But far-right people say some questionable things and be called out for it? That's exactly why Trump 2020 is not a slam dunk anymore. Older conservatives aren't race-driven, have seen enough of this guy to not want another 4 years. How much sex they've had. I used to feel jealous, but now I realize that the people who do that are usually pretty insecure about a lot of other things about themselves, and probably not getting laid. My sister-in-law brags about the number of times she failed her driving test, because it shows she never gives up. She doesn't know how to maneuver a car in reverse. How humble you are. I am the most humble person there is. Probably even humbler than you. Their IQ. A high IQ doesn't mean you're always right, and it doesn't make you a better person than someone else. Yeah, IQ is a very specific type of intelligence. Being an incel, who they have had sex with, assuming it's not like people in a long-term relationship that it's kinda assumed that they have. I am a guy, and when other guys go off about all the girls they've slept with and start showing their Instagram accounts and stuff to everyone else, I just find it really not tasteful. I'm with you. When it comes to women, I'm a swinging dick as much as the next guy. My wife and I have a great sex life, but we don't yap about it, and I have no interest in hearing about anyone else's. WJAT really bugs me is the attitude that a guy the first work with had towards it. He was going on about the girls he's been with, and he saw a young girl who was hired for the summer, and he was going on about wanting to get with her and what her name is, and me and the other girls I work with were like, she's definitely too young for you. And after we finally convinced him of it, he then said, if there's no chance of sleeping with her, then I don't care what her name is. Guys FCKEN suck. Signed generic white guy. About how much better they are than other people. It comes off as obnoxious and very arrogant to me. But I am superior. How they aren't like other girls because they don't do girly things. How is being a tomboy something to brag about when they're not rare? Very true. This also goes for the other end of the spectrum, mature people who brag about being super manly and masculine, or alternatively super girly and feminine, or equally annoying. It seems to be that girly is an insult to almost everyone at this point, which pisses me off so much because you can enjoy shopping or makeup without being a girl. And honestly, calling someone girly just seems like it's become sexist. I too find it is a personal attack towards those who does enjoy feminine activities. Basically the whole, I'm not like other girls mentality is saying, hey, I'm better than you because I reject gender roles. Quote, straight people bragging about their gaydar. Worse, their supposed ability to tell who's trans. This reminded me of a conversation that I had with a girl about a year ago in school. Her, hey, are you trans? Me, no, you don't just ask people that. Her, but you're so feminine and skinny. Me, thank you. Her, me, her, oh, you're gay. It didn't go exactly like this, but that was the basic summary of it. For the record, I am a heterosexual male. What did you expect her to think? If you're skinny, then you obviously are LGBTQ+. That is like science or something. 100% proven to be a fact. Fuck, if this is measured by skinnies, I think I am the straightest person to ever be alive. Like, congrats Mackenzie. You can spot a flamboyant gay man and a butch lesbian when you see one. Clearly you have an incredible, indisputable gaydar, intelligence, and parents' wealth. Their kids. Nobody wants to hear about how perfect your child is, how much drink they had the night before, etc. Yeah, seriously. If you're not going to tell me about something ridiculous or stupid or embarrassing you did when drunk, you're basically just describing your bar tab. And that's not interesting to anyone. If you did do something stupidly embarrassing, then please, by all means, do tell. I made sure to drink the recommended 6 glasses of water yesterday. I'm so healthy. Honestly, what should you brag about? I can't find anything off the top of my head. Maybe cooking. Hearing grandmas bicker about them is usually sweet. Your kids being kind, maybe. I'd agree with this sentiment. I always took the term brag as the shortened slang for conceited boasting. Just not a nice thing to do in any circumstance. That being said, maybe there is something where an exception to this rule is appropriate. To a certain extent, with friends, it's probably okay in small doses, like cooking or a promotion, or getting over depression, addiction, an achievement of one of their kids, etc. Just don't go overboard with it. Bragging is acceptable if you're sharing your success. For example, I made an amazing cake. Have some. Or, I got a promotion. Drinks are on me. Quote, bragging is bad when it just serves to emphasize you being above the other person. Oh, you drive the Toyota. I just got a new Porsche. Or when you know someone isn't doing well financially, and still brag about your money or expensive purchase. Now, if you accomplish something special and want to brag even if you can't share, and these are good friends, then doing it once in a blue moon won't make you a bad person. People hate the kind of person whose bragging is almost always the second type and never the first. No one should brag about anything. Are you bragging about how much you don't brag? JK, I am the most humble man alive. Their social life. Your social life means jack if you literally do nothing beneficial or productive in life, and being an influencer means nothing too. I think that people should stop bragging about how many crimes they have done. Man, you would not like the UK drill scene. Sleeping with their step-siblings. Who do you know that bragged about this? Some weirdos on Reddit probably so their comment or get more exposition. It's not bragging, but people should stop complaining about the same things over and over and over and over and over. But this can apply to bragging too. If they brag about the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Drinking when you're 14. If you have a beer twice a year, not really a problem or so, but drinking vodka's really bad as you're 14. Humble brags are the absolute worst, make me cringe every time. They are literally opposite words with opposite meanings. Being humble means you wouldn't be bragging in any way. They're really cringy. Paying for sex. I have a friend who was bragging to me about how he got laid by this sex worker he paid $200 to. It was kinda cringy. Your family's money. Especially if you don't have a job. Nothing annoys me more than people who brag about money they did nothing to earn. Like, congrats. You got lucky in the situational lottery and were born into a family with wealth. It's not really something to be proud of. Money, power, people to brag about being rich just suck. To be fair, it's a very nice feeling to have money to spend however you like. I know it's hard to keep quiet whenever I have $20 burning a hole in my pocket. Not graduating high school. Obviously college is not for everyone. But come on, high school? The only exception to this is financial reasons. And still, who's gonna brag about being poor? I dunno. I find those stories about people dropping out of school to raise an abandoned family of 20 at age 15 because their mom has Alzheimer's and their dad had a permanent injury in his lower hip and spine because of a juggling accident. Bittersweet. My friend's cousin's sister, insert BS story, and I were hunting an old farmland of some sort, and I saw this massive buck had to be at least 500 pounds and he was for sure a 20 PTER. Anyways, so I aimed in on him, held my breath and fired. Hit him right in the eye. So I ran over to see my kill, and man, I shot him and ran over to him so fast that the bullet was still spinning in his eye when I got there. It was amazing. Good BS story. Lol. The only thing that would make that story pristine BS is to say the gun was a .22 pistol. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.